Hello and welcome to Face Off on France 24, the programme which tells you all you need to know about French politics. With exactly a year to go before the next presidential elections in France, the governing Socialists are struggling in the polls, and only 14% of French voters want President François Hollande to seek a new mandate. The principal bone of contention is the president's failure to restore economic growth and to bring down unemployment. But as we discussed a couple of weeks ago on the programme, one minister has so far escaped the government's misfortunes, and he appears to be going from strength to strength. His name is Economy Minister Emmanuel Macron. Some are now wondering whether he could actually be the Socialist Party's best bet for next year's election, while others within the party are increasingly irritated by a man they see as a threat to the executive. Joining me this week is Jean-Marc Gonin, a senior writer with Le Figaro magazine, and Stéphane de Vries, the Paris correspondent for the Dutch television channel RTL4. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
First, before we start the debate, let's have a look at the latest with this report by Kyle Brown.
Monsieur Macron.
France's economy minister can't avoid the limelight, or the decidedly French debate of whether he's even a socialist.
The left today doesn't satisfy me. I want to be able to build a progressive movement with those who believe in moving the country forward.
The interview was recorded just days after Emmanuel Macron launched his own political movement, En Marche, or Moving Forward, which he says is neither left nor right.
Macron said, the left as it stands doesn't satisfy him. Well, it doesn't satisfy me either. I agree with him, but nor does the right.
The former banker has been on the airwaves all week and putting his colleagues in a tight spot. On Wednesday, he suggested that France's inheritance tax would be axed, forcing Prime Minister Manuel Valls to issue a correction the same day. Thursday, he visited a factory with President François Hollande and held him up while taking selfies with the workers. In an interview published the same day, he said he has no obligation to the president. But on Friday, he confirmed his loyalty to the head of state, confounding pundits who wonder whether he's merely biding his time before he breaks with Hollande to announce his own candidacy for next year's election.
He won't be a candidate for the presidential election against François Hollande. I don't believe it for a second. He will be at the president's side in 2017.
The oft-repeated question is, how long can a president tanking in the polls and seeking a second term allow an increasingly popular minister to occupy the limelight?
On Monday this week, a group of supporters of President François Hollande, calling themselves EO la gauche, or the left, met in Paris to draw up plans to defend the president's record. Led by Agriculture Minister Stéphane Le Foll, the idea is for intellectuals, researchers, historians and economists to come up with a plan to boost the flagging president. And of course, conspicuous by his absence at that meeting was Emmanuel Macron. Stéphane Le Foll called on all socialists to support the president.
France is recovering. The country is getting stronger, but the French people don't see it yet. Our message is that we're here to make sure that the French get better tomorrow. To all of you, a big thank you. And see you soon for the left's victory in 2017.
We'll come to Emmanuel Macron in a moment, but first to Jean-Marc Gonin. Do you think this group called EO la gauche has any chance of restoring any form of confidence in President Hollande?
I strongly doubt it. That show looked really silly to me. I mean, you have not even the main ministers being gathered there. What's the status of this show? They're sitting on a stage in armchairs trying to defend their action, what they've done in the last 4 years. I mean, you want to explain a policy, you have all the means to do that. What is this gathering of people, like, trying to energize, I don't know whom, in what purpose? I mean, they want to back the captain of the ship, and you have half of the crew, the rest of the crew, the main desk officers are not there, and they're all telling us the captain is a very nice and important man. Where's the captain?
Are they trying to convince the socialists themselves, or are they trying to convince voters that they should come back and support the president?
I think it's too late to convince the socialists as they are. I mean, the party is shattered, is in bits and pieces, and they are trying to glue what's left of it, what's still the ones that still believe in the president, but the message was out there to get to the voters more than the socialists themselves. For the socialists, it's too late.
Stefan de Vries, is everything lost? Can they do anything to get back some support for President François Hollande, or is this a desperate measure at the last minute that comes too late?
Well, in politics, no one is really ever lost, but I think this is a very desperate move by these ministers. It's basically to tell themselves that what they've been doing the last 4 years, that they have been doing a good job. But I think really no one is interested in this strange movement, AO. It's an expression in English. It means you're facing a situation that you can't change, and you just have to accept this situation. So I'm not sure whether they speak English enough to understand the meaning, but it's of course a very strange name. I really don't know what's their strategy, and I doubt that they know themselves what is their strategy.
And the ironic thing was that this meeting took place at a hospital, a university hospital, which led many people to say, well, it's a sign that the Socialist Party is in such bad state that it needs to actually meet in a hospital to try and get itself back together to improve its health.
Yeah, indeed, in a university in the heart of Paris, so once again completely disconnected with the real French people. The Socialist Party is in very bad shape. They only have 86,000 paying members now. That's about half what they had in 2012 when François Hollande became a president. So there's not much left of this party. A lot of people, deputies, local councillors, they have handed in their party membership. The party is doing really, really badly. The only positive thing for the Socialist Party is that on the right, things are not much better. But this is the party that's in government now, and so they should have to find a response if they want to have the slightest chance to be re-elected next year.
And I'll add something to what Stefan said. I mean, the party has been weakened by the last elections, local, regional elections, and that was the real structure of the party. All these elected people across the country were the real network of the party, and they have lost those seats. So they have lost a political base that was solid and strong, and a financial base, because they earn money through that.
And is it because only there has been no increase in economic growth in France, and because unemployment has not come down, or is there another factor that people are rejecting?
I think the first factors you named are essential, because the president himself said, I'm going to bring down the unemployment rate in this country within my mandate. And, you know, it's like being through a drought and waiting for the rain, and the rain has not fallen yet. So, the electors, the voters, the people, they're not so naive. This president, they trusted him to do so, and it never happened. So you can say whatever you want. This is the main benchmark that people are looking at.
Okay, well, let's talk about the man who's in the headlines here in France and on the front pages of many magazines at the moment, Emmanuel Macron. As we just heard in that report, it appears that he could be biding his time before breaking ties with the president to run next year, or maybe he's helping the president to try to increase his opinion poll ratings by being the most popular party, even with the most popular member of the government, even though he's not a member of the Socialist Party and not an elected official. What do you think, Stefan, that Emmanuel Macron is playing at?
Well, a month ago in this very show, we talked about Emmanuel Macron, and I said that I wasn't so sure that he would backstab the President Hollande. But now I've changed my mind. We've seen him in all the media for the last week, every day. He's really taking his distance from the current president. What's interesting as well is that Macron is not a party member, so he's completely free. And that is what he's been saying all the time as well. I'm a free man, I can do what I want, and I'm not obliged to the president. So he's taking his distance. He's young in French terms, he's 39, so he has a very long career in front of him. The only thing is that he's not a politician. He was a banker, he's a former banker. He has never been elected. So this could be his launch in politics. He has never done any politics, but his movement got a lot of positive reactions. And what's interesting as well is that he has the image of being a liberal, which is a very dirty word in France, liberal person. But on the left, he's quite popular as well. He's actually the most popular politician on the left and at the right as well. So he somehow is able to to combine the left and the right in France, which is pretty rare for one politician.
And do you think, Jean-Marc, that if Emmanuel Macron, as we saw in this report, annoys President Hollande too much by taking selfies with the crowd and holding him up and going against his official policy, that François Hollande could in fact sack him?
Well,
or is that too dangerous a measure to take now?
That's the point I want to develop. He might be tempted to do so, but regarding what Stefan just said, that he is getting very popular, he might be the only way to save somehow an election, or at least the reputation of François Hollande's policy. And as let's say the economic figures are going the right way slightly in the last months, Macron might remain an asset in his hand, whereas if he would chase him, he would make a rival out of him first, and second, he would lose the few positive points he brings to his own government.
Okay, very quickly, one other person, you've got 15 seconds each to give me your opinion, is the Prime Minister Manuel Valls. Does he have a chance or not? Is he being overtaken by Emmanuel Macron? Where does that leave him? Jean-Marc first.
I think Macron is going to replace Manuel Valls as the liberal candidate of the Socialists.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Manuel Valls, his time is up. I mean, Emmanuel Valls. Emmanuel Macron is 15 years older than, younger than Manuel Valls, so it's a new generation. And Manuel Valls has just, he's part of this government who did everything wrong. So it's not looking good for Manuel Valls. It's now or never.
Okay, well, thanks very much to both of you. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching this edition of Face Off here on France 24. We'll see you at the same time next week, but stay tuned for more news coming right up.